Hello and welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today's podcast, English Listening Practice podcast topic name is 30 plus C1 level vocabulary on transportation. This is our deep dive session. Today we're really embarking on, a fascinating journey, diving deep into the world of transportation vocabulary. Our goal isn't just surface level definitions. We want to unpack terms that really illuminate mobility, infrastructure, innovation, all of it. Think of it as getting you well informed about global journeys, your daily commute, even the huge logistical networks that keep everything moving. We'll explore how we talk about getting ourselves and, everything else from A to B.
That's a great way to put it. And what's really interesting about these C1 level terms we're focusing on is they're not just synonyms, are they? They offer much richer, more precise insights. This level of vocabulary lets you have more sophisticated discussions, whether it's in a professional context, maybe an academic paper, or honestly, just getting a deeper grasp of how the world moves. We'll try to connect these terms to broader ideas, maybe uncover some surprising links along the way.
Exactly. It's about more than just words. It's about how societies connect and grow. So get ready. We're about to hit the road and the air and the water on this lexical journey. Let's dive in.
The wheels on the road, personal journeys, and urban realities.
Okay, so let's kick things off where most journeys start for many of us, on land. And we really have to begin with the most familiar and maybe the most transformative mode, the automobile. Car, vehicle, motor car, basically a motorized thing for personal transport. But the material highlights something really key. The invention of the automobile revolutionized urban mobility in the 20th century. Revolutionized, that's a big word. What does that really mean in this context?
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
Revolutionized isn't just about change. It's a fundamental system-wide transformation. It didn't just change how we move, but literally where we lived, how our communities were built. Before cars were common, cities were dense, walkable mostly, defined by how far you could walk or maybe horse-drawn transport, early streetcars. The personal car just blew that model wide open. It made modern suburbia possible, people living further from work. Totally new daily patterns. And think about the ripple effects, drive-thrus, shopping malls, vast road networks, highways. All direct results. Urban planning had to completely adapt, often prioritizing cars over walking or public transit. It spawned massive industries too, manufacturing, fuel, insurance, road building. It touched almost everything. We're still dealing with the legacy of that today, environmentally and socially.
It's incredible the cascade effect from one invention. And it didn't stop there, right? The material notes. Modern automobiles incorporate hybrid technology for better fuel efficiency. It's always evolving.
Absolutely. It's a constant evolution. And it's driven by this mix of, technological advances, environmental pressures, what consumers want, hybrid tech, and now increasingly full electric. That shows a big societal shift towards sustainability, doesn't it? It's not just about power anymore. It's about cleaner, more efficient vehicles, reducing that carbon footprint. That pushes innovation in batteries, materials, braking systems. It's a direct response to things like climate change. So innovation here isn't just progress for its own sake. It's adaptation to our changing values.
But even with all that revolutionary power and evolution, cars still cause headaches, especially in cities. The material points out, owning an automobile in a crowded city often means dealing with parking challenges. I think everyone can relate to that one.
Oh, definitely. This is the classic urban problem, isn't it? A perfect example of how even revolutionary tech creates new dilemmas. You've got congestion, the sheer amount of space cars take up, and finding affordable or even just available parking. It's a constant struggle in dense cities. So it forces this balancing act. Individual convenience, wanting to drive and park right where you want, versus the collective reality of city living, where space is limited. And that raises huge questions for planners, right? As cities grow, do we keep trying to fit more cars in or shift towards other, maybe more collective ways of getting around? The answers really shape how livable our cities will be.
Right. And speaking of navigating cities, let's move to the cab. Taxi, hackney, hire car, a vehicle with the driver you hire. The material mentions a common frustration. Hailing a cab during rush hour can be frustrating in big cities. Why is that such a universal pain point?
Well, it's basically supply and demand hitting a wall in a dense environment. Peak hours, everyone wants a ride now. But the number of available cabs, traditional or rideshare, is limited, where it just can't scale up instantly. So for the passenger, it means longer waits, sometimes surge pricing, and just the uncertainty of finding one when you really need it. It highlights those pressure points in urban commuting.
And that leads perfectly into the next point. Ride-sharing apps have disrupted the traditional cab industry globally. This was more than just a small change, wasn't it?
Oh, far more. It's been a massive economic and social shift. Technology, those apps on our phones, completely reshaped an industry that hadn't changed much for decades in many places. The impacts are everywhere. It affected traditional drivers' livelihoods, sparking debates about the gig economy, worker rights, benefits. At the same time, it totally changed what we expect as consumers: convenience, upfront pricing, on-demand service, things we now almost take for granted. And regulators are still playing catch-up, trying to figure out how to manage it all, balancing innovation, fairness, public transport policy. It's a fascinating case study.
Yet even with all the tech, there's still something about a skilled driver. The material says the cab driver navigated the narrow streets with expert skill. Is that local knowledge something GPS still struggles with?
That's a really insightful point. That expert skill isn't just about steering. It's that deep, intuitive knowledge of local geography, knowing the traffic patterns right now, adapting to sudden closures, knowing the shortcuts. These are complex, dynamic things that even advanced AI navigation is still figuring out, especially in older cities with tangled streets. It shows how individual human expertise really contributes to the efficiency and, frankly, the safety of the system in these tricky urban settings. It's experience and a connection to the place.
Okay, from the city streets, let's go a bit more rugged with the Jeep. Off-roader, 4x4, utility vehicle designed for rough surfaces. The material gives an adventurous example. The Jeep navigated the muddy trails with ease during the safari. What makes them so good at that?
It really boils down to specialized engineering for capability. Jeeps usually have high ground clearance, lets them go over obstacles. They've got robust suspension for uneven ground, and crucially, sophisticated four-wheel drive, or 4x4 systems. That sends power to all wheels for maximum grip on slippery stuff like mud, sand, rocks. Plus things like locking differentials, low-range gears for more control and power in really tough spots. It's designed specifically for adventure exploration, where roads just aren't there.
And it's not just for fun, is it? The material notes, military Jeeps are built for durability in harsh terrains. Reliability must be key there.
Absolutely. In a military context, reliability and resilience are paramount. Failure isn't really an option. So military versions are built even tougher. They need to withstand extreme temperatures, carry heavy loads, take impacts, often simpler mechanics for field repairs. It's about performing a critical function in the toughest, sometimes hostile conditions. Mobility is crucial.
There's a real enthusiast culture, too, the material says. Enthusiasts customize their Jeeps for extreme expeditions. It becomes more than just transport for them.
Definitely. It's a great example of a vehicle becoming more than just a tool. It's a platform for personalization, part of an identity. People modify them with lift kits, huge tires, reinforced bumpers, winches. It's not just about performance, it's expressing a passion for off-roading self-reliance. It becomes a personal statement, a tool for adventure hobbies, maybe a symbol of freedom. And that enthusiasm often drives innovation in the aftermarket parts world.
All right, let's shift gears to something that carries groups. The minibus. Shuttle van, microbus, small coach, bigger than a car, smaller than a full bus. The material mentions group utility. The minibus transported the group to the airport efficiently. Seems like a perfect size for that kind of job.
It really is. It hits a sweet spot. It carries more people than a car, so it's cost-effective per person, but it's still maneuverable enough for city streets, unlike a huge coach. So it's ideal for airport shuttles, company transport, small tours, even school runs sometimes. It fills that gap where a big bus is too much, but multiple cars are inefficient.
And they seem crucial for connecting communities, too. The material observes, rural areas rely on minibuses for public transit links.
Yes, and this highlights their role in accessibility, which is often overlooked. In rural areas, population density might not support big bus routes or rail lines. Minibuses are more flexible, cheaper to run, and can adapt to smaller passenger numbers. They become lifelines, connecting smaller places to essential services, schools, larger hubs. They literally prevent isolation and help keep those communities connected.
I've often seen them used for tours, too, offering a different experience. The material suggests tour guides use minibuses for intimate sightseeing trips.
That's a great application. It taps into that demand for more personalized tourism. Compared to a big tour bus, a minibus allows for smaller groups. This means guides can offer more tailored itineraries, maybe access narrower streets or unique spots, and foster more interaction among the travelers. It just makes for a more intimate, flexible, and often richer sightseeing experience.
Now for something smaller and zippier, the moped. Motorized bicycle, low power cycle. Basically a motorcycle with a weak engine and pedals. The material paints a familiar picture. Students zip around campus on mopeds for quick commutes. Almost a symbol of youthful freedom, right?
It really is. Mopeds are great for that short distance individual urban travel, especially on campuses or in dense areas. That mix of bicycle and motor makes them accessible, often easier licensing, cheaper to run, really easy to handle in traffic. Perfect for quick trips where a car is bulky, parking's tough, and a bike might be too slow or tiring.
So efficiency in tight spaces is key. The material emphasizes mopeds are ideal for short trips in crowded cities.
That's the core appeal. They offer a way around urban congestion and are fuel efficient for those shorter hops. Their size lets them weave through traffic jams, park easily. They take up less space. It helps ease pressure on infrastructure, offers a more sustainable option for certain trips compared to a car.
And sometimes they're more than just transport, they're a passion project. As the material notes, he restored an old moped as a weekend hobby.
Yeah, this brings in that cultural aspect. Vintage mopeds especially can have real sentimental or hobbyist value. Restoring one is a rewarding project for many people, connecting with mechanics, appreciating old designs, maybe joining a community of enthusiasts. It shows vehicles aren't always just functional. They can be historical objects, sources of creativity, connecting us to craftsmanship in the past.
Okay, when it's time for a big move, you often need a moving van. Relocation truck removal van, a large vehicle for furniture and goods. The material sets the scene. The moving van arrived packed with boxes for the new home. It's almost a symbol of a fresh start.
It absolutely is. And that image immediately makes you think of the logistics involved in moving. These are specialized vehicles, right? Big cargo space, strong suspension to handle bulky, heavy items safely. They play this critical, often unsung role in major life changes, letting people move entire households. It would be immensely harder without them.
And packing them well is an art form. The material acknowledges professional movers loaded the moving van efficiently.
Definitely an art, maybe even a science. It highlights the expertise needed to maximize space and, crucially, transport belongings safely. Pros understand strategic packing, weight distribution, securing items to prevent damage. It's a skill ensuring fragile things and bulky appliances arrive intact, like real-life Tetris masters.
But for those trying to save money, the material offers advice. Rent a moving van for DIY relocations to save costs.
Right, and this points to the economic choices people make when moving. Renting a van for a do-it-yourself move is a common strategy to cut costs compared to full-service movers. It shows the factors people weigh: costs, time, physical effort, needing friends to help when facing a big logistical task like moving house. It offers a balance between budget and convenience.
Next, a really essential vehicle for cities. The garbage truck, waste collector, refuse lorry, collecting household trash. The material describes that familiar routine. The garbage truck made its weekly rounds early in the morning.
That simple description covers such a vital, often invisible service. Garbage trucks are absolutely critical for public health and hygiene. They prevent waste piling up, which avoids disease, pests, general unpleasantness. It underscores the complex logistics involved: scheduling, routes, dealing with the sheer volume of waste cities produce, ideally with minimal disruption.
And they're getting smarter, too. The material notes, new garbage trucks use compactors to maximize load capacity.
That's a great example of innovation for efficiency. Those compactors drastically increase how much waste one truck can hold. That means fewer trips to the landfill or recycling center, which saves fuel, reduces wear and tear, lowers emissions, and cuts operational costs. It's about smarter, more sustainable waste management.
And it connects to what we do as individuals. The material reminds us, residents sort recyclables before the garbage truck arrives.
Yes, and that powerfully links the truck's function to our own actions and broader environmental goals. When people sort recyclables, they're actively participating in waste reduction and the circular economy. It highlights how modern waste systems are integrated, relying on both technology, the trucks, the sorting facilities, and citizen participation to work effectively. It's a community effort.
Okay, let's shift from utility to leisure and adventure with the recreational vehicle, RV, camper, motorhome, a vehicle with living amenities for travel. The material gives us that image of freedom, the recreational vehicle parked at the campsite.
That image really captures the appeal, doesn't it? It's this unique mix of transport and temporary home. It speaks to the rise of nomadic lifestyles, the desire for self-contained travel, the freedom to explore while bringing comforts with you. It taps into a sense of adventure, self-sufficiency, connecting with nature but with amenities. A very distinct way to travel.
It's huge for family road trips in some places. The material reflects this. Families road trip in recreational vehicles.
Definitely. The RV is iconic for family vacations, especially in North America or Australia. It creates a unique bonding experience. Families can explore national parks, scenic routes on their own schedule without needing hotel bookings. It offers flexibility, often cost-effective travel, combining transport and accommodation.
And people really make them their own. The material notes, customized recreational vehicles for comfort.
Yeah, that highlights how RVs become highly tailored. Owners modify interiors, upgrade appliances, add personal touches, enhance off-grid capabilities. It's about making it feel like a real home away from home, maybe even a permanent one, suited to their specific travel style or needs. They become personalized mobile homes.
Finally, for this section on road vehicles, the limousine. Limo, stretch car. A large, luxurious car, often with a partition. The material evokes that special feeling. The limousine arrived for the prom night.
That's the classic association, isn't it? Limousines signify luxury, status, celebration. They play this cultural role in marking special moments, proms, weddings, big anniversaries, adds grandeur, exclusivity. The vehicle itself becomes part of the experience, symbolizing importance and indulgence. It's about the arrival.
And we often link them to famous people. The material states, celebrities travel in tinted limousines.
Right, for public figures, it's about luxury, but also privacy and security. Tinted windows, the partition. They offer a shield from paparazzi and the public. It's a mobile private space, allowing them some normalcy or to conduct business securely. Functional luxury.
But it's not just for the ultra-famous or huge events. The material suggests book a limousine for airport transfers. Practical luxury.
Exactly. This highlights a practical use. For business travelers, high-end tourists, it offers convenience, comfort, reliability, takes the stress out of traffic, luggage, timing, ensures a smooth start or end to a trip. It can be about executive comfort or just a desire for a hassle-free journey.
On the tracks and bridges, mass transit and infrastructure.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground with individual vehicles. Now let's shift our focus, host, to larger scale systems, thinking about mass transit, efficiency, infrastructure, and moving goods and people collectively. First up is the freight car, also called a cargo wagon, goods carriage, or boxcar. Basically, a railroad car for goods. The material gave that example. The freight car carried coal across the country for energy production.
Yeah, that immediately makes you think of industrial logistics. Freight cars are the backbone for moving huge amounts of raw materials. Coal, minerals, grain, timber long distances. They connect mines or farms to factories or power plants. They're like the arteries of the economy, really, ensuring industries get what they need. Without them, large-scale production or energy grids would be much harder, much more expensive.
Precisely. And moving such heavy stuff long distances means safety is absolutely vital. The material points this out. Inspectors check the freight car for secure loading before departure.
And that underscores just how critical those safety checks are. One mistake in securing a load, whether it's heavy machinery or hazardous chemicals, could be disastrous. Derailments, spills, huge economic losses. So that meticulous inspection, making sure everything's loaded right, it's like a silent guardian of the whole system. Huge responsibility there.
And these aren't static things. They evolve, the material mentioned. Modern freight cars feature refrigeration for perishable items. That's fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge deal for supply chains. Refrigerated cars, reefer cars, they're sometimes called let you transport temperature-sensitive goods like fresh food, frozen items, even pharmaceuticals, over vast distances without spoiling. It's fundamentally changed what consumers can access. Fresh fruit from another continent, vital medicines distributed globally. It shrinks the world for perishable goods, transforming commerce and even diets. Building on that, let's talk about the freight train itself. Goods train, cargo locomotive, carrying goods, not people. The material paints that picture. The freight train rumbled through the night, hauling containers to ports.
That image really captures the scale and efficiency. Freight trains move hundreds of containers at once, linking inland production centers to ports for global distribution. They're indispensable for the global supply chain, that high-volume link between making things and selling them. The sheer amount they move in one go dwarfs what trucks can do, a real backbone.
But when things go wrong, the impact is huge. The material states, delays in the freight train schedule disrupted supply deliveries.
Yes, and that shows how interconnected and maybe fragile modern supply chains can be. A single delay, whether mechanical problems, track work, can cause ripple effects, product shortages, higher costs, frustrated businesses and consumers. It highlights the complex coordination needed in global logistics. One snag can have wide-ranging effects.
But there's a big upside, especially environmentally. The material says freight trains reduce road congestion by shifting cargo from trucks. That sounds like a definite plus.
It really is. especially when you think about sustainable transport in urban planning. Rail is generally much more fuel efficient per ton carried than trucks, meaning lower carbon emissions. Shifting cargo from roads to rail eases highway congestion, reduces wear and tear on roads, potentially lowers accident rates. It supports integrated transport policies using each mode for what it does best, creating a greener, more efficient system overall. A strong argument for investing in rail.
Okay, next up, a design that doubles the capacity.
Yeah.
The double-decker. Bus, train, ship with 2 levels. The material mentions the classic tourist use. Tourists love riding the double-decker bus for panoramic city views.
It's clever, isn't it? Turns basic transport into an experience. That upper deck, especially if it's open top, gives amazing views of landmarks, city life. It's using design not just for function, but for enjoyment, offering a unique perspective on a place. It's about seeing the city differently.
And they're really important for handling crowds. The material highlights. Double-decker trains ease commuter overcrowding in metropolitan areas.
Exactly. It's a practical solution for boosting capacity on busy routes without needing hugely expensive track expansion. Just adding that second level lets trains carry way more people per trip, tackling overcrowding, improving comfort, making public transport more efficient in dense areas, maximizing existing infrastructure.
And it works on water, too, the material says. The double-decker ferry accommodated vehicles on the lower level.
Right, it shows the versatility of the concept. On ferries, it neatly separates vehicles below from passengers above, safer, more convenient, and uses the limited space efficiently. Lets them move lots of people and cars simultaneously, crucial for connecting islands or crossing rivers.
Moving on to a more specialized rail system, the monorail. Single rail train, often elevated. The material describes its use in specific places. The monorail whisked passengers through the theme park quickly.
Yes, the design works well in controlled environments like theme parks or airports. Being elevated means no ground-level congestion, efficient flow. Plus, they often look quite futuristic, fitting the aesthetic. It's practical transport, but also part of the venue's atmosphere.
But planners think about them for cities, too. The material notes. Urban planners propose monorails to reduce traffic congestion. Raises questions about future city transport, doesn't it?
It certainly does. They're often considered because they have a smaller ground footprint and run above traffic. Adds capacity without demolishing things. But the benefits, less congestion, maybe lower land cost for supports, have to be weighed against huge construction costs, the visual impact, and integrating them into existing complex city systems. It's an option, but a complex one.
And there's an environmental angle, too. The monorail's design minimizes environmental impact.
Well, potentially. Being elevated means less ground disturbance than traditional rail or roads. And many are electric, reducing local air pollution, especially if the electricity is green. However, you still have the resource use for construction, the visual aspect, so minimal impact needs careful evaluation. It shows engineering can aim for a lighter footprint, though.
Okay, back down to street level with the tram. Streetcar, trolley, light rail electric, runs on rails in the street. The material remarks on its quiet presence. The tram glided through the city center quietly.
That captures their character well. Electric means quieter than buses, zero local emissions, much nicer for city centers, and they integrate right into the streetscape, often alongside pedestrian areas, making them accessible and visually part of the urban fabric. Smooth, efficient, often quite attractive transit.
And they have a lot of historical charm, too. The material mentions historic trams attract tourists in old towns.
Absolutely. Cities like Lisbon, San Francisco, Melbourne. They've kept their old trams running and they become iconic attractions. It blends transport with culture and nostalgia. You travel through historic areas in a way that feels connected to the past, like moving museums.
And modern cities are looking to expand them. The material discusses expand tram lines for better connectivity.
Yes. There's renewed interest in light rail for improving urban connections and promoting sustainable growth. Expanding tram networks aims to reduce car dependency, ease congestion, and support more walkable urban development. It offers a reliable, eco-friendly alternative, linking different parts of the city effectively.
Finally, in this section, the impressive viaduct, a long, elevated bridge, often with arches carrying a road or railway. The material marvels. The viaducts span the deep valley impressively.
It really speaks to major engineering achievements. Viaducts overcome big geographical hurdles, valleys, rivers allowing transport routes to continue uninterrupted. Their structure, often those rhythmic arches, isn't just functional, it's often visually stunning, a testament to human ambition to connect places despite terrain. They become landmarks.
And they allow for speed and efficiency. The material notes, trains cross the viaduct at high speeds.
Right. By providing that level direct path, they let trains maintain speed, which drastically cuts travel times and improves logistics. They're critical components for high-performance networks, moving people and goods quickly over what would otherwise be major obstacles.
But such massive structures need constant care. The material emphasizes, maintain the viaduct for structural safety.
Absolutely crucial. These structures face constant stress loads from traffic, weather, time. Rigorous inspection and maintenance are vital for public safety and keeping the network running. It highlights the ongoing, often unseen, work and investment required to keep our infrastructure safe and reliable. A lot of dedicated work goes into that.
Above the clouds, the world of air travel.
Okay, we've covered roads and rails pretty thoroughly. Now let's shift our gaze upwards to the skies, the world of flight, and the words we use to talk about it. Let's start with Airbus. An airplane for many passengers, especially shorter distances, commercial jet, passenger liner. The material notes their dominance in certain areas. The Airbus fleet dominates European routes.
That's quite telling about their market strategy and design focus. While they make bigger planes too, Airbus really excels in that short to medium haul market, like within Europe. Airlines like them for these routes because they're efficient to operate. They have standardized cockpits across different models, which simplifies pilot training and maintenance. And they have a good reputation for passenger comfort. Fleet commonality saves money.
Yeah, you often hear about a smooth ride. The material mentions, board the Airbus for a smooth flight.
And that connects directly to the passenger experience. Modern Airbus planes use advanced aerodynamics, fly-by-wire controls, systems to dampen turbulence. It all contributes to a stable, relatively quiet ride. That feeling of a smooth flight is really important for passenger confidence and makes air travel feel more routine and pleasant for millions.
And a big part of their success is efficiency. The material says, Airbus models prioritize fuel efficiency.
Oh, that's huge in aviation today. Fuel is a massive cost for airlines. Plus, there's increasing pressure to reduce environmental impact. So Airbus invests heavily in things like lightweight composite materials, advanced engine designs, smart flight management systems, all aimed at burning less fuel. It addresses both the bottom line and sustainability demands.
Okay, now a more general term. Airliner. Passenger plane, commercial aircraft, jetliner. Just a large aircraft for passengers. The material captures that sense of wonder. The airliners soared above the clouds gracefully.
It does evoke that feeling, doesn't it? Airliners symbolize our ability to conquer gravity, offering those incredible views. The description highlights the power, the elegance, the seeming effortlessness as they climb. It resonates with that human desire to explore, to overcome limits, a real marvel of engineering.
And with so many people on board, safety is everything. The material emphasizes. Safety checks are routine for airliners.
Absolutely paramount, and it's incredibly rigorous. From the pre-flight checks by pilots and crew to regular intensive maintenance by engineers, every part of an airliner's operation is scrutinized. This systematic, relentless focus on safety, mandated by international bodies and airline policies, is why air travel remains statistically so safe. An unwavering commitment to security.
There's also that growing focus on being greener. The material highlights. New airliners reduce carbon emissions.
Yes, the industry is working hard on that. Developing more eco-friendly planes with better engines, exploring sustainable aviation fuels, SAFs, optimizing flight paths. It's a major area of focus. It's about mitigating aviation's climate impact, meeting public demand for greener travel, and ensuring the industry's future viability. A complex but vital challenge.
And then we have the giants. The jumbo jet, wide-body jet super jumbo, meaning a very large plane like the Boeing 747. The material mentions its sturdiness. The jumbo jet landed smoothly despite turbulence.
That speaks to their incredibly robust design. Jumbo jets were built to handle stresses like turbulence, harsh weather, long flights, while keeping control and comfort. It shows their structural integrity, advanced systems, and their historical importance as the reliable workhorses of long-haul travel, proving themselves in tough conditions. Built to endure.
They really did seem to shrink the planet. The material notes, jumbo jets connect distant continents efficiently.
They absolutely transformed long-haul travel. The 747 especially made intercontinental flights accessible and efficient for the masses. Their huge capacity enabled global business, mass tourism, cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale. They were key in creating the interconnected world we know.
But even these giants get replaced. The material says, retire older jumbo jets for newer models.
Right, it's the life cycle of aircraft. Airlines weigh the rising maintenance costs and fuel inefficiency of older planes against the benefits of newer, more efficient models. Retiring older jumbos, while maybe sad for enthusiasts, is a strategic move for profitability, reduced environmental impact, and adopting the latest tech. Keeps the fleet competitive.
Now for something completely different. From the past, the Zeppelin. Dirigible, blimp, rigid airship. Large airship from Germany. The material evokes that image. The Zeppelin floated majestically over the city.
It really conjures that sense of historical wonder. Airships offered a unique, lighter-than-air travel experience that fascinated people early last century. Their slow, silent, majestic presence was awe-inspiring, representing a different path aviation might have taken before faster, heavier-than-aircraft took over, a more relaxed pace.
And they were real pioneers. The material reminds us, historical Zeppelins pioneered transatlantic flights.
They did indeed. They played a significant, though ultimately short-lived, role in demonstrating long-distance passenger and cargo flight across oceans. They offered a slower, more luxurious experience, panoramic views, comfortable interiors, a different vision of air travel before speed became everything. They pushed boundaries.
Interesting how old tech finds new roles. The material notes. Modern Zeppelins serve advertising purposes.
Exactly. It shows how adaptable technology can be. Their role in mass transport faded after disasters, but their visibility, slow speed, and stability found new niches. Great floating billboards, stable platforms for scientific research, surveillance. It shows that technology's core advantages can find new life in unexpected areas.
Across the waves and beneath the surface, maritime and submarine exploration.
Okay, so we've covered land and air. Now let's turn our attention to the water, which covers most of our planet. We'll explore everything from pleasure craft on the surface to vessels deep below. First, the general term vessel. Any ship, boat, watercraft designed for water travel. The material gives an industrial example. The cargo vessel docked at the busy port.
Yeah, that immediately brings to mind global trade. Cargo vessels are the workhorses of international commerce, carrying unbelievable amounts of goods, raw materials, manufactured products across oceans. They connect continents, fuel economies. Modern global supply chains just wouldn't exist without them. Silent giants of the economy.
And they can be incredibly specialized for science, too. The material highlights. Research vessels explore ocean depths.
Right, these are floating labs, basically, packed with advanced tech, sonar, ROVs, submersibles to map seabeds, study marine life, track climate change. They're vital for oceanography, biology, discovering new things about the vast, unexplored parts of our planet, pushing the frontiers of knowledge.
And then there's the other end of the spectrum. Luxury vessels offer cruise vacations.
Which shows the sheer diversity of vessels, from pure utility to pure recreation. Luxury cruise ships are like floating resorts, transport, accommodation, entertainment, dining all in one, caters to that desire for leisurely, all-inclusive travel. The journey is the destination there. Next, the cruiser. A large motorboat with a cabin for sleeping, used for recreation. Yacht, cabin boat, pleasure craft. The material sets a relaxing scene. The cruiser sailed along the coast leisurely.
That captures the appeal, doesn't it? Recreational boating, the freedom it offers. Cruisers let you explore coasts, lakes, waterways at your own pace, often for longer trips. It's a lifestyle choice, really, blending adventure and comfort for people who love being on the water.
Yet people use them for hobbies. The material observes. Weekend cruisers enjoy fishing trips.
Exactly. Having a cabin, somewhere to sleep, maybe a small kitchen, makes extended fishing trips or overnight stays comfortable. It shows how these boats become part of outdoor pursuits, a platform for personal enjoyment and engaging with the marine environment.
But owning one is a big responsibility. The material stresses. Maintain the cruiser's engine regularly.
Crucial point, especially on water. Proper maintenance of the engine, hull, safety gear is vital for safety and reliability. An engine failure at sea is dangerous and costly. It underscores the practicalities, the expertise, and cost involved in keeping a boat seaworthy.
Let's go more traditional now with the canoe. Narrow, light boat with pointed ends moved with paddles, paddle boat, dugout. The material describes an outing. They paddle the canoe down the river.
Canoes represent that ancient connection to water, powered by human effort. Paddling fosters a connection with nature, great for exploring quietly, observing wildlife, emphasizes skill and human power over motors, a really immersive experience.
And they're best in certain conditions, the material suggests. Canoes suit calm lake explorations.
Right, their design open top, often wider than kayaks, makes them better suited for calm waters like lakes or slow rivers. Not ideal for rough seas or strong currents. perfect for quiet exploring, fishing, family outings where stability is key.
There's a lot of craftsmanship history too. The material notes. Build a canoe from traditional materials.
Yes, that taps into the heritage of canoe building, often using natural materials like wood or bark, passed down through generations. It speaks to a deep knowledge of materials, design, hydrodynamics, often linked to indigenous cultures and sustainable practices. Form follows function and environment.
Closely related is the kayak. Lifeboat, usually with a cockpit opening for the paddler, paddlecraft, single-person boat. The material highlights its agility. The kayak glided through narrow streams.
That describes their maneuverability perfectly. Slim, low profile allows them into tight spots, narrow streams, reeds, even surf where bigger boats can't go. Offers a very close to the water experience, enhancing that feeling of exploration. Very responsive.
And they can handle different conditions. The material says sea kayaks handle ocean waves well.
Shows the specialization. Sea kayaks are typically longer, narrower, designed to track well and manage ocean waves and currents, unlike river kayaks built for quick turns. This allows for demanding sea journeys, coastal expeditions, demonstrating how design adapts a basic concept for very different environments.
They're practical for carrying gear too, the material points out. Pack gear in the kayak's compartments.
Crucial for touring. Many have watertight compartments or deck storage for gear, essentials, safety equipment. Vital for longer trips. Shows how form follows function, every design element considered for utility, safety, comfort, allowing for self-sufficient travel.
Now for a vessel focused entirely on safety. The lifeboat. Rescue boat, emergency craft for saving lives at sea. The material describes a drill. The lifeboat launched during the drill.
That highlights the critical role of preparedness. Drills are essential to ensure crews can launch and operate them effectively under extreme pressure. It underscores the need for constant readiness and training for those worst-case scenarios at sea.
The word itself is so evocative. The material recounts. Survivors clung to the lifeboat.
That phrase hits hard, connects directly to real-life rescue situations, stories of survival against the odds. The lifeboat represents that last hope, a fragile chance against the elements, a testament to designing for our most vulnerable moments.
And they need to be properly equipped. The material emphasizes, equip lifeboats with supplies.
Yes, they need provisions to sustain survivors, food, water, first aid, signaling gear, thermal blankets, sometimes for days or weeks. Shows the meticulous planning needed for disaster scenarios, ensuring people have the basic means to survive until help arrives. A miniature survival arc.
Next, let's talk speed. The powerboat. Speedboat, motor racer. A fast motorboat, often for racing. The material describes its competitive nature. The powerboat raced across the lake.
Focuses right on performance, designed for speed, acceleration, agile handling, powerful engines, hydrodynamic hulls to skim the water. Central to sports like powerboat racing, pushing machine and skill to the limit. Also just exhilarating for recreational speed fans.
But they do more than just race. The material notes. Powerboats tow water skiers.
Shows their versatility. That power and consistent speed are essential for water skiing, wakeboarding, tubing, things that need a strong, fast pull. Combines the thrill of speed with utility for other dynamic water sports.
But like any fast machine, upkeep is key. The material states, maintain powerboat engines for performance.
Reinforces that idea, high performance demands diligent maintenance. For speed, reliability, and crucially safety, engines need regular expert servicing and tuning. Highlights the specialized knowledge and care needed to keep powerful machinery at its peak.
Relatedly, the speedboat. Racing boat, fast craft. Designed to go very fast. The material captures its movement. The speedboat cut through waves effortlessly.
Evokes that feeling of speed and efficiency on water. Streamlined design, powerful engines allow them to plane across the surface with agility, engineered for exhilaration and rapid transit.
I imagine they're great for tourism. The material suggests, charter a speedboat for island hopping.
Perfect example. Speedboats enable quick access to multiple locations. Great for island hopping or reaching secluded spots fast. Enhances the travel experience, offers flexibility, turns a trip into an adventure.
But definitely needs skill to handle. The material highlights, speedboats require skilled handling.
Absolutely. High speed, changing water conditions, other boats, demands quick reflexes, good judgment, knowledge of maritime rules, underscores that blend of technology and human skill needed for safe operation.
Now for something really unique, the Hovercraft. Air cushion vehicle, ACV, travels on land or water on a cushion of air. The material describes its movement. The Hovercraft skimmed across the channel swiftly.
Fascinating physics there. They generate a cushion of air underneath, lifting them off the surface water, land, mud, Ice enables amphibious travel, crossing diverse terrains quickly with minimal friction, bridges the gap between land and water transport like nothing else.
And they have military uses too. The material mentions military hovercrafts deploy troops rapidly.
Yes, huge strategic advantage. They can go from ship to shore quickly, crossing beaches, soft ground obstacles, invaluable for amphibious landings and logistics. Offers speed and flexibility where conventional landing craft might struggle. Specialized tech for tough environments.
The design principle is clever. The material emphasizes. Hovercraft design minimizes water resistance.
That's the key to their speed over water. Riding on air eliminates most direct contact with the water, drastically cutting friction compared to boats. Allows higher speeds, potentially better fuel efficiency at speed, and operation in shallow water. An elegant solution.
Finally, under the waves. The submarine. Sub, underwater vessel, U-boat. Warship operating on and underwater. The material describes stealth. The submarine dive to evade detection.
Immediately brings up stealth, underwater navigation. Their primary role in naval warfare and intelligence. Masterpieces of engineering designed for clandestine operations, sonar, quiet propulsion, deep diving to remain hidden. Formidable strategic assets.
And the human element is incredible. The material highlights. Crews live in submarines for months.
Explores those extreme conditions. Confined spaces, no natural light, isolated for months. Requires immense mental fortitude, teamwork, resilience. Emphasizes the extraordinary human endurance needed for these long, demanding underwater missions.
But they're also tools for discovery. The material mentions explore wrecks with research submarines.
Broadens the view. Specialized research subs are vital for oceanography, archaeology, exploring wrecks, deep-sea vents, mapping the seafloor. Allow scientists to physically access environments otherwise unreachable. Critical for understanding Earth's oceans.
The connective tissue, systemic thinking, and specialized utility.
Wow, we've covered so many individual vehicles. Now let's kind of zoom out a bit and talk about broader concepts and some specialized vehicles that are crucial for keeping things running. First, the snowplow. Snow clearer, plow truck. Vehicle or equipment for clearing snow off roads. The material describes its vital role. The snowplow cleared paths after the blizzard.
Perfectly illustrates its immediate importance. Snow removal keeps roads passable for emergency services, commuters, supplies during severe weather. They're frontline responders, enabling society to keep functioning, showing our resilience against nature's challenges. Essential public service.
And it's intense work. The material notes, municipal snowplows operate round the clock in winter.
Speaks to the logistics and dedication involved. Non-stop operations in heavy snow regions, requiring coordination, shift work, constant monitoring to keep essential routes open. It's that silent, tireless effort ensuring community safety and function during harsh weather. Often unsung heroes.
They're often attachments, too, the material observes. Attach a snowplow to trucks for heavy duty.
Shows that modularity. A plow attachment turns a standard heavy truck into a specialized winter vehicle. Efficient use of resources, adapting existing fleets for specific, tough tasks. Smart engineering for flexibility.
Okay, finally, a really important concept that ties a lot of this together. Integrated, meaning different parts working well together. Unified, combined. The material points to a seamless system. The integrated transport system links buses and trains.
This term is so key for modern transport planning. It moves beyond individual vehicles to the importance of interconnectedness. An integrated system means different modes, road, rail, etc., function as a cohesive whole, making transitions easy and efficient for users. A unified network, not separate pieces.
And technology makes that integration visible to us. The material notes. Integrated apps track public transit in real time.
Absolutely. Digital tech is transformative here. Real-time tracking apps give us immediate info on schedules, delays, alternatives, empowers users, makes public transport more predictable and user-friendly, leads to more efficient mobility, potentially higher ridership, makes the commute manageable.
It's about the big picture, the strategy, the material states. Develop integrated urban mobility plans. This seems vital for future cities.
It's probably the most crucial point for the future. It demands strategic planning that sees transport as a unified system, not silos. The goal is sustainable, livable cities where transport is efficient, equitable, minimizes environmental harm, and enhances quality of life. It's about designing mobility to serve people, not dominate them. A really important vision, synthesis, and so what? So, bringing this all together, what really stands out is the incredible diversity and ingenuity in transportation. We've gone from the personal freedom of the automobile to the industrial might of the freight train, the historical wonder of the Zeppelin, the strategic depth of the submarine. Each term isn't just a word, it reveals history, technology, social impact, future challenges. This vocabulary helps us appreciate the complex dance of movement defining our world. Understanding these terms gives you a doorway into human innovation, adaptation, and how the very act of moving shapes us.
It's been quite the journey through this vocabulary. It really shows how specific terms allow for clearer, more insightful conversations about transport in all its forms. It's not just knowing the word, but grasping the concept behind it, the history, the implications. Hopefully this deep dive encourages you, our listeners, to notice these words more, maybe use them yourselves, and just have a richer understanding of how our world connects and moves. Outro. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the language of transportation. We've covered everything from the personal automobile to impressive viaducts, the hidden world of the submarine, and that key idea of integrated transport. So as you go about your day, maybe on a bus, in your car, or planning a trip, think about this. What stories are hidden in the vehicles and systems around you? What is the way we move tell us about our society and where we might be heading? Keep diving deep into your curiosity and knowledge. Until next time, on the Learn English Lab, safe travels in learning. And hey, if you enjoyed this, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Thanks again.